Have you ever been in a moment of intimacy with someone? Not only physical intimacy, but emotional, spiritual, almost sacred, and suddenly felt something so strange in your own body that you did not know how to explain it to anyone? Perhaps a wave of chills that had nothing to do with the cold. A pressure in your chest that felt like your heart wanted to speak but had no words. A tingling in your spine, in your hands, or in your head, as if an invisible current of energy was flowing through you. And right after that, a quiet question inside. What is wrong with me? If you have ever felt this, there is a high chance you have spent years trying to fit into a world that says intimacy is only physical, only chemical, only about the body in a simple way. But deep inside, you know that is not your truth. You feel more. You notice more. You sense shifts in the atmosphere before anyone else. When you are close to someone, especially in moments of deep intimacy, it is as if your entire being, body, heart, and soul, becomes a radar, capturing signals that no one around you seems to perceive. This can be beautiful, yes, but it can also be confusing, draining, and sometimes deeply lonely. People like you are often misunderstood. Some call you too sensitive, too emotional, too intense, as if your depth were a defect to be corrected. You may have tried to ignore what your body feels, to silence your reactions, to act as if everything were normal. Maybe you have even asked yourself if you are broken, if you have a hidden problem, if you are the only one in the world who experiences this. You watch other people talk about intimacy as something simple and mechanical, while for you it seems to open doors you do not know how to close. In this video, I will refer to you as a chosen one. Not because you are better than anyone else, but because life seems to have chosen you to feel more deeply, to perceive what others do not, to carry a sensitivity that is not common. Your nervous system, your emotions, and your soul respond to intimacy in a unique way. When you connect with someone, you do not connect just a little. You open layers of yourself that most people keep hidden forever. And your body speaks. It speaks through chills, pressure, weight, warmth, tingling, silence, expansion, and sometimes even emptiness. This message is for you if you are tired of thinking you are the only one who feels these strange sensations during intimacy. It is for you if you have tried to explain this to someone and received only a confused look, a joke, or silence. It is for you if you have chosen to keep everything inside, because you were afraid of being judged as fragile, dramatic, or weird. Here, you will not be judged. Here, your experience will be treated with respect. Here, what your body whispers will finally be honored as something important. We are going to walk through 5 strange sensations during intimacy that many chosen ones experience. We will talk about waves of energy running through your body, the weight or warmth in your chest that feels like your soul is being touched, the tingling in specific points that seems to activate something inside you, the impression that there is more in the room than just 2 bodies, and the mysterious sense of exhaustion, emptiness, or expansion after everything ends. I am not here to reduce you to a diagnosis or to force you into any belief system. I am here to give you language, clarity, and peace. I want you to understand that there is coherence in what you feel, even if no one has ever taught you how to read these signs. As you recognize yourself in these descriptions, something powerful may happen. The guilt begins to dissolve. The shame becomes lighter. The idea that you are broken starts to lose strength. You realize that your body is not your enemy. It is your messenger. Every strange sensation during intimacy may be a signal, a call, a way for your inner world to say, please see me. Please listen to me. Please respect what I feel. When you start to listen, everything changes. The way you choose partners, the way you open your heart, and the way you protect your own energy. Before we go any deeper, I want to invite you to gestos simples, a very simple gesture. If anything I have said so far resonates with you, If you have ever felt strange sensations during intimacy and did not know how to explain them, write in the comments, "I feel this." Just that. I feel this. This is not only for engagement. It is to show your own heart that you are not alone, and to allow other chosen ones to recognize themselves in you. First, strange sensation. Waves of chills and invisible energy through the body. Imagine this for a moment. You are in an intimate moment with someone. Close, vulnerable, exposed not only in your body, but in your emotions. There is warmth, there is touch, there is breathing. Everything seems normal. And then, without warning, your body does something that does not match the scene. A sudden chill rises from your legs to your neck, or descends from your head down your spine. Goosebumps appear on your arms, even though the room is not cold. You feel as if a subtle wave, almost like a soft electric current, crossed your whole being. No one else notices anything. From the outside, nothing has changed. But inside, it is as if a silent storm has passed. In that moment, you may feel confused. You might try to ignore it, to relax, to act normal. But a part of you cannot help asking, why did my body react like that? For many chosen ones, this is one of the first signs that intimacy is not just about two bodies interacting, but about two fields of energy meeting. It is as if your system were saying, something is happening here that is bigger than what the eyes can see. These chills, these waves, are not random. They often arrive exactly in moments of greater emotional truth. When you feel seen, when you feel unsafe, when you feel deeply moved, or when something in the other person's energy touches you beyond the surface. Some people immediately interpret these sensations as fear. Others think it is only excitement. And yes, sometimes it can be a mixture of many things. But if you are a chosen one, there is a particular quality in these chills that you cannot deny. They do not feel like a simple reaction to temperature. They feel like a message. Sometimes they come when the other person speaks a phrase that hits a deep wound in you. Sometimes they arrive when you suddenly perceive that the connection is not as reciprocal as you imagined. Other times, they surge in moments of genuine tenderness, when you realize that someone is truly present with you in a way you had not experienced before. Your body, in these moments, behaves like a highly sensitive antenna. While many people perceive intimacy only through touch and pleasure, you perceive nuances, vibrations, microsignals. Your skin seems to listen. Your spine seems to translate. Your nervous system is like a finely tuned instrument, printing in chills what your conscious mind still has not had time to understand. This can be overwhelming because it makes you feel different. You look at others and wonder, do they feel this too? Or is it just me? And because almost no one talks about it, you may have concluded that you are simply strange. However, what if we reframed this experience? What if, instead of asking, what is wrong with me? You began to ask, what is my body trying to show me? When a wave of chills rises in the middle of intimacy, it can be a signal of alignment. A moment when your soul recognizes truth, beauty, connection, and your body responds with a subtle yes. But it can also be a signal of warning. Your inner world perceiving a mismatch, something that does not feel safe, honest, or coherent, even if the surface seems pleasant. The same sensation can appear in both contexts, which is why self-knowledge becomes so important. For chosen ones, these waves of energy often appear at key points, right before you cross a boundary, right when you open a deeper level of vulnerability, or right after you ignore a small instinct that told you to slow down. Your body speaks in chills because it knows that if it spoke only in thoughts, you might rationalize everything away. Goosebumps do not argue, they appear. The sudden cold in your back does not negotiate, it simply manifests. It is your system saying, pay attention, something in this moment matters deeply. There may have been times when you tried to silence this sensation. You told yourself that you were exaggerating, that you were being dramatic, that you needed to be normal. Perhaps you forced yourself to continue in a situation in which your body had clearly said no, through an intense wave of discomfort. Perhaps you also withdrew from a beautiful connection because the intensity of the chills frightened you, and you confused depth with danger. Without guidance, a sensitive body can become a prison. With understanding, however, it becomes a compass. It is important to say this with kindness. If these sensations ever come accompanied by physical pain, dizziness, or symptoms that worry you, it is wise and loving to seek medical support. Caring for your health is not the opposite of respecting your sensitivity. It is part of it. But when exams say that everything is normal, and still you continue to experience these mysterious waves during intimate moments, it may be time to admit that your body is also reacting to the invisible, to emotions, to atmosphere, to the truth or falseness of the connection you are in. When you begin to observe these chills without judgment, something changes. Instead of feeling at the mercy of them, you start to notice patterns. You may perceive that your body relaxes and warms when you are with someone who honors your limits, and that it freezes or trembles when you are with someone who invades your space. Even if in subtle ways, you may notice that certain words, gestures, or looks trigger waves of energy that are not about fear, but about recognition. As if some deep part of you said, "I know this soul." This first strange sensation, then, is not your enemy. It is one of the first languages of your sensitivity. It is the way your inner world reacts when intimacy becomes a portal. Sometimes a portal to healing, sometimes a portal to repetition of old wounds. As a chosen one, ignoring these signals is like walking in the dark while holding a lit lantern in your hand and insisting on not turning it on. If, as you listen to this, you remember specific moments when chills ran through your body during intimacy, and you did not know why, know this: you were not weak, you were not broken, you were not absurd. You were sensing, you were perceiving. Your body was trying to participate in the conversation, even when no one had taught you how to listen to it. In the next part of our journey, we will go even deeper into another of these mysterious experiences, that weight, pressure, or warmth in the chest that feels as if your very soul were being touched or even squeezed in moments of closeness. Second strange sensation: the chest that tightens, warms, and wants to cry. There are moments of intimacy in which the most intense sensations are not happening in the obvious places of the body, but right in the center of your chest. The scene might look beautiful from the outside. Closeness, touch, a sense of union, bodies getting closer, breathing becoming slower or faster. But inside you, another reality is unfolding. Your chest begins to feel heavy, almost as if someone had gently placed a weight over your heart. Or you feel a pressure rising from inside, as if a locked emotion were pushing from within, looking for a way out. Sometimes there is warmth, almost like a soft burning, and along with it comes a lump in your throat, and an urge to cry that appears without any logical reason. This is one of the most confusing experiences for many chosen ones. You wonder, why am I feeling like this now? Shouldn't I be simply enjoying the moment? Everything around you says, this is intimacy, this is pleasure, this is connection. Yet your heart seems to be having a completely different experience. It feels as if someone had opened a door inside your chest, and behind that door, there is not only the person you are with, but your entire history. Memories of rejection, moments when you gave too much, situations in which you were not chosen, times when you loved and were not loved back in the same way. Every touch seems to awaken echoes. For many sensitive people, intimacy acts like a key that unlocks emotional rooms they did not know were still closed. You go into the moment thinking it will be just physical or just affectionate, and suddenly you find yourself in front of old wounds you thought you had already outgrown. The pressure in your chest is not always about the present person. Sometimes It is the past knocking. A childhood moment when you did not feel seen. A relationship in which you gave more than you received. A time when you opened your heart and someone treated it carelessly. All of this can be silently stored in the body, and moments of closeness have the power to stir the waters at the bottom of the lake. The body speaks, and the heart has its own vocabulary. Pressure, tightness, warmth, discomfort, heaviness. These are often the words the heart uses when it wants you to notice something. Might be saying, "I am afraid of being hurt again," even if your mind is busy trying to stay relaxed. It might be whispering, "This is too fast for me," while you try to keep up with the rhythm of the other person. It might be pleading, "I want to be truly seen, not just touched," while the moment moves on the surface and never reaches the depth your soul longs for. But the chest does not only tighten out of fear or pain. For a chosen one, the heart can also respond with intensity when it tastes a level of love or acceptance it is not used to. Imagine you have spent much of your life defending your heart, keeping yourself emotionally guarded, always prepared for rejection or indifference. Then, suddenly, you find yourself in a moment of intimacy with someone who is truly present, kind, careful with your soul. The body recognizes this unusual safety, and the heart, instead of relaxing instantly, sometimes trembles first. The pressure you feel can be the emotional walls shaking, unsure if they should stay up or finally come down. The urge to cry may not be a sign that something is wrong, but that something profoundly right is finally happening. This is why the same physical sensation, tightness in the chest, warmth, the desire to cry, can appear both in situations that are not good for you and in situations that are deeply healing. The difference lies in what that sensation is attached to. If, after the moment, you feel drained, disrespected, or emotionally abandoned, it is likely that your heart was tightening in self-defense. If, on the other hand, after the moment you feel softer, more open, and somehow more honest with yourself, it may be that your heart was opening a door it had kept closed for too long. In both cases, the chest is a truthful witness. For many chosen ones, this heart sensitivity becomes a source of shame. You may have been told that you are too emotional, that you take things too seriously, or that you complicate what should be simple. Maybe you have already apologized for crying during or after intimacy, feeling embarrassed for having a reaction that the other person did not understand. Perhaps you have tried to harden yourself, to numb your emotions, to stop feeling so much, just to fit a model of intimacy that looks lighter, more casual, less demanding. Yet every time you try to silence your heart, the pressure seems to come back even stronger later. But what if your heart is not a problem to be fixed, but a compass to be followed? What if the tightness you feel is not a failure, but a warning? Here, I do not feel safe, or here I need more time, or here I am finally being touched in a way that matters. Instead of fighting these signals, you can begin to ask, what is my heart trying to tell me in this moment? Does it need protection? Does it need more slowness? Does it need more truth? Or is it flooding with gratitude and emotion? Because for once, it is being honored instead of ignored. One of the most powerful acts of self-love for a chosen one is this: not betraying the heart just to avoid losing someone. When intimacy becomes a place where your chest is constantly heavy, where your soul feels smaller after each encounter, where your tears are always suppressed, something inside you is asking for change. Your body is not trying to sabotage your relationships. It is trying to save you from abandoning yourself inside them. At the same time, when your heart feels moved in the presence of genuine care, letting the tears come can be a way of finally allowing yourself to be fully there, not just with your body, but with your entire story. It is okay if your chest feels too much. It is okay if your heart reacts strongly when you are close to someone. You are not strange for wanting intimacy that also embraces your soul. You are not exaggerated for needing emotional safety, not only physical closeness. You are simply wired to experience connection at a deeper level, and your heart refuses to stay silent about what is real for you. As you look back, maybe you will notice a pattern. Moments in which your chest felt heavy, and later you discovered that something was indeed wrong in that relationship. Or moments in which your heart felt warm and exposed, and those became turning points in your journey of healing. If you can honor this organ not just as a physical pump, but as a subtle translator of your emotional truth, you will make choices that align more with who you truly are. In the next part of our journey, we will move from the broad, central space of the chest to more specific points in the body. Those mysterious tingles, pressures, or sensations in your hands, feet, spine, or head that appear during intimacy as if certain parts of you were being activated or awakened. Third, strange sensation. Tingling, pressure, and activation. In specific parts of the body. There are moments of intimacy in which the most intense signals do not come from the obvious places, but from small, unexpected points in your body. You might be in the middle of a gentle touch, a kiss, an embrace, and suddenly you feel a tingling in your hands, as if tiny sparks were waking up under your skin, or a strange pressure in your feet, your legs, your lower back, or along your spine. Sometimes it is the back of your neck that seems to come alive, or a subtle throbbing at the center of your forehead, or at the top of your head, as if someone had lightly placed a finger there. No one around you sees anything. From the outside, the scene looks normal, but inside, it is as if different parts of your body were lighting up one by one. For many chosen ones, this is one of the most mysterious aspects of intimacy, because it does not follow a logical pattern. You might feel nothing unusual in one encounter, and in the next, your hands are buzzing, your spine feels warm, or your feet suddenly feel heavy or rooted, as if you were being anchored to the ground. You may ask yourself, why this part of my body? Why now? What does this mean? And because this is not something people talk about openly, you can easily feel strange, as if your body were reacting in a way it should not. But your body, especially when you are more sensitive, is not random. It is expressive. Each region of the body stores different kinds of stories, tensions, and memories. For example, your throat can carry years of words you never said. Your lower back can hold worries about support, safety, and stability. Your belly can reflect fear, anxiety, or unprocessed emotions. Your hands may react when you are about to give or receive more than you are used to. Your feet may feel heavy when something in you does not want to move forward, or unexpectedly light when you feel deeply aligned. In moments of intimacy, when guards are lowered and defenses are thinner, these stored sensations find an open door to finally move. For chosen ones, who tend to experience life with a heightened energetic sensitivity, intimacy acts like an amplifier. It increases not only pleasure and emotional connection, but also perception. It is as if the volume of your inner signals were turned up. A caress on your back is not just a caress. It might awaken tingles along your spine. A simple hug can trigger warmth in your chest and a buzzing in your hands. A kiss might cause a light pressure in your forehead, as if some inner eye were observing more than the surface. None of this means you are imagining things. It means you are feeling more than most people allow themselves to feel. Sometimes, this tingling comes with a sense of activation, as if a part of you that had been sleeping suddenly woke up. You might notice that after certain intimate encounters, you become more intuitive, more inspired, or more emotionally exposed. You may have vivid dreams, strong insights, or a sudden clarity about a relationship that you did not have before. It is as if intimacy had pressed hidden buttons inside you, and now areas that were silent are speaking. This can be exciting, but also disorienting, especially if you do not know how to handle the flood of sensations and information that follows. At other times, the tingling and pressure feel heavier, almost uncomfortable. You might sense your shoulders tightening and your neck becoming stiff, as if your body were trying to protect you. You may feel your stomach tighten or your legs become restless, like a quiet urge to leave, even while another part of you wants to stay. These sensations are not betrayals. They are messages. Your system is telling you, something in this situation does not feel fully safe, or there is a part of you that is not ready for this depth right now. Ignoring this can lead to confusion and regret later, because your body often perceives misalignment before your mind can name it. One important distinction is this: tingling that comes with a sense of expansion, softness, and truth is different from tingling that comes with a sense of contraction, anxiety, and denial. Your body does not speak in sentences, but it does speak in qualities. If, during or after intimacy, the specific area that activated leaves you feeling more present, more honest, more connected to yourself, that activation may be part of a healing process. However, if you feel drained, foggy, or internally fragmented afterwards, your body might have been trying to show you that something about that connection was crossing a line you were not comfortable with, even if you could not admit it at the time. Many chosen ones dismiss these signals because they have been taught to separate the body from the soul. They are told that physical sensations are just mechanics, just biology, something that can be controlled or ignored at will. But for you, the body and the inner world are deeply intertwined. Your nervous system does not remain neutral when your soul is being touched. Your skin does not stay indifferent when your boundaries are being tested, when your longing is being awakened, or when your truth is being invited to come to the surface. What you feel in your hands, in your feet, in your spine, in your neck, all of that may be your inner wisdom trying to reach you through the only language it has: sensation. There is no need to become obsessed with interpreting every single tingling or pressure. This would only create fear and tension. Instead, you can adopt a gentle curiosity. What was I feeling emotionally when this sensation appeared? Was I at peace, or was I ignoring a discomfort? Was I crossing a line I did not really want to cross? Did I feel truly seen, or only used? Did I feel more like myself, or further away from who I am? Over time, you will notice patterns. You will see that certain sensations tend to arise in similar emotional situations, and you will learn to read your own body like a map. To honor these experiences is not to become mystical about everything, but to become honest about what is real for you. Your body is not a machine that malfunctions during intimacy. It is a living, intelligent field that reacts to truth and falsehood, to safety and danger, to presence and absence. When your hands tremble slightly, when your spine feels like it is carrying a subtle current, when your neck grows tense without a clear reason, you have a choice: to dismiss it as nothing, or to listen and ask what part of you is speaking through that sensation. You are not strange for feeling specific points of your body awaken during intimacy. You are not too much for having a nervous system that notices things other people overlook. You are simply built with a sharper sensitivity, a deeper radar. And although that can be challenging, it can also become one of your greatest strengths. It allows you to sense when a connection is nourishing or draining, when a situation is right or wrong for you, long before the consequences become obvious. As we continue this journey, we will move from the inner landscape of the body to an even more subtle realm. The feeling that, in certain moments of intimacy, it is not just two people in the room, a presence, an atmosphere, a sense of purpose or weight that goes far beyond what is visible. Fourth strange sensation: when it feels like there is more than just two of you in the room. There are certain moments of intimacy that are hard to describe because, if you look only at the scene, everything seems simple. Two people, a room, a closed door, maybe a soft light, maybe silence, or a quiet sound in the background. Nothing extraordinary. And yet, inside you, something whispers that there is more happening than what the eyes can see. It is as if the atmosphere had a weight of its own, a presence, a thickness in the air. Sometimes you feel a deep peace descending, almost like a sacred silence that makes you want to speak more softly, move more slowly, breathe more consciously. Other times, you feel an invisible discomfort, a subtle tension that has nothing to do with the person in front of you, but with something in the room that simply does not feel right. For many chosen ones, this sensation can be both beautiful and unsettling. You might be in a moment of closeness and suddenly feel an immense stillness, as if time were slowing down and the space around you had become a small universe, separate from the rest of the world. In those instants, you may sense that the encounter holds a meaning bigger than the two bodies present. It feels like a turning point, a crossroads, a moment that will echo inside you for a long time. You may not know why, but you know that something in you is being marked. The way the other person looks at you, the vulnerability you are allowing, the honesty of what is being shared, all of it seems to open a door to something beyond the ordinary. There are also other moments, however, in which the sensation is the opposite. A strange heaviness, a subtle unease, as if there were a mismatch between what is happening on the outside and what is true on the inside. Perhaps everything seems pleasant on the surface, but you feel observed by something you cannot name. Your own conscience, your future self, your deepest truth. You may sense that this encounter is not aligned with who you really are or with the life you truly want to build, and the atmosphere reflects that. The room feels crowded, not with people, but with unsaid words, unmade choices, ignored intuitions. Even if there are only two bodies there, the weight of all that is being denied makes it feel as if there were much more. Sensitive souls often perceive what others call vibe in a detailed, almost surgical way. You walk into a space and know if there was a fight there earlier. You hug someone and feel if they are carrying sadness behind their smile. In moments of intimacy, this sensitivity becomes even more intense. You're not only feeling the person you are with, you are feeling the story between you, the truth or falseness of what is happening, the intentions present, the boundaries respected or crossed. You may also feel the shadow of things not spoken, promises that were never fulfilled, expectations that no one admitted aloud, fears that both of you pretend not to have. All of this creates an invisible presence in the room, something that is not a person, but is still very real. Sometimes, for chosen ones, intimacy awakens a spiritual perception, even if you do not usually use that word. You may feel that life is watching that moment closely, as if asking you, is this truly what you want? Is this how you want to treat your own soul? Is this the kind of connection you were created for? In beautiful, aligned encounters, this presence feels like a blessing, a sense that the moment is meaningful, protective, almost sacred. In distorted encounters, the same awareness can feel like a gentle but firm warning, a reminder that you are not meant to keep repeating patterns that hurt you, that your body and your heart are not objects to be used, but places to be honored. This fourth strange sensation can make you feel very alone if you do not understand it. You watch other people treat intimacy as something casual, light, almost meaningless, and you wonder why. For you, it never feels neutral. There is always a consequence, always an echo, always a sense that these moments are doors, not just events. Doors that open you to more of who you are, or doors that take you far away from yourself. Your sensitivity forces you to see that what happens behind closed doors never stays only behind closed doors. It moves into your thoughts, your emotions, your sense of worth, your capacity to trust again. Instead of fighting this perception, you can begin to treat it as a gift of clarity. When you feel that extra presence in the room, that sense that something bigger than you and the other person is involved, you can pause inwardly and ask, what is this moment creating inside me? Is it expanding my respect for myself and for the other? Or is it shrinking me? Does this atmosphere feel honest? Or does it feel like a performance? Do I feel more aligned with my purpose after this, or further from it? These questions are not meant to make you paranoid. but to awaken in you the courage to take intimacy seriously, not in a heavy or fearful way, but in a conscious one. It is important to say, feeling that there is more in the room does not mean you are imagining ghosts everywhere, nor that every detail has a mystical explanation. It simply recognizes that for you, intimacy is never just an isolated physical act. It is always connected to your story, your values, your hopes, your wounds, and your future. When you sense a sacred silence, you are perceiving how rare it is to be truly present with someone, without masks. When you sense a tense heaviness, you are perceiving where you are betraying yourself for the illusion of connection. This is not madness. This is awareness. Many chosen ones reach a point where they can no longer pretend that intimacy is just fun, when everything inside them tells a different story. They reach a threshold where the inner voice becomes loud enough that ignoring it hurts more than obeying it. From that point on, they begin to choose differently. They may have fewer encounters, but those encounters carry more truth. They may say no to situations that everyone around them considers normal, but that inside feel empty or wrong. They may decide that their body, their heart, and their spirit will be treated as one single, integrated reality, and that any atmosphere that tears them apart does not deserve their presence. If you have ever had the sensation that in certain moments of intimacy there was someone else in the room, your own future, your own truth, your own calling, you are not strange. You are simply awake. You feel the spiritual and emotional weight of what others call just a moment. You know that every encounter either honors or wounds something in you, and you are being invited, gently but firmly, to treat that knowing with respect. As we move to the final strange sensation, we will leave the moment itself and look at what happens after intimacy ends. Because for many chosen ones, the most revealing signals appear not during the encounter, but in the silence that comes later. That deep exhaustion, that inexplicable emptiness, or sometimes that surprising sense of expansion and peace, as if something essential had finally been given or received. Fifth strange sensation, the aftermath. Exhaustion, emptiness, or expansion after intimacy. Sometimes, the loudest truth about an intimate encounter does not appear during the moment itself, but in the silence that comes after. The bodies separate, the room becomes quiet, the lights return to normal, and from the outside, it may look as if everything has simply ended. But inside you, something is just beginning to speak. Your body starts to reveal what it truly lived. Your emotions, which stayed in the background while you were trying to be present, now come to the surface. And it is in this after that many chosen ones experience some of their strangest sensations. Deep exhaustion, an unexpected emptiness, or in rarer but powerful moments, an expansive peace that feels almost sacred. Let us begin with exhaustion. You might have noticed that, after certain encounters, you feel more than just physically tired. It is not the natural fatigue that follows effort and pleasure. It is a kind of internal depletion, as if someone had unplugged your inner energy source. You feel heavy, slow, maybe even slightly sad or irritated without knowing why. The other person might feel perfectly fine, talking, smiling, acting as if everything was normal, while you feel as if a part of you has been left behind or drained. You ask yourself, why do I feel like I just ran an emotional marathon? For many chosen ones, this deep exhaustion is a sign that during intimacy, you gave more than your body and soul could comfortably offer. You might have crossed a boundary to please, to avoid conflict, or to hold on to a connection you were afraid of losing. Perhaps you were not fully emotionally safe, but you continued anyway, hoping that the closeness would eventually create safety. Your body went along, but your inner self kept paying a hidden price. In the aftermath, when the distraction ends, your system reveals the bill, a sense of being emptied out, of having poured energy into a space that did not truly honor you. Then there is emptiness, This can be one of the most painful feelings, especially when the moment before seemed intense, passionate, or meaningful. The intensity fades, the physical closeness ends, and suddenly there is a hollow space inside you. You may lie there next to the person and feel strangely alone. You might put on a smile, say the usual words, act as if everything is fine. But internally, you feel a quiet ache, a sense that something essential is missing. You might even think, if this is what intimacy is supposed to give me, why do I feel even more distant from myself? For a chosen one, emptiness after intimacy is rarely random. It often appears when the encounter did not match the depth your soul was hoping for. Your body was present, but your heart was not truly met. You may have shared skin, but not truth. The other person might not have been cruel or unkind. They may even have been gentle. Yet, if the connection stayed on the surface while your inner world longed for more, a gap is created. That gap is experienced as emptiness. It is not that something went terribly wrong. It is that something important never arrived. You were there with your entire being, but only a small part of you was actually seen. On the other side of the spectrum, there are the rare and luminous moments when the aftermath feels completely different. After the encounter, instead of exhaustion or emptiness, you feel a soft expansion. Your chest is open, your breath is calmer, your mind is clearer. You do not feel drained, you feel gently full. There is a quiet joy inside you, not necessarily because everything was perfect, but because you were honest with yourself, respected your boundaries, and allowed yourself to be present in a way that did not betray who you are. The other person may have met you with respect, care, and authenticity. In those moments, intimacy does not leave a void. It leaves a trace of peace. This expanded feeling is not about fireworks or intensity. In fact, sometimes the most explosive encounters leave you the most empty, while the simplest, most tender ones leave you the most at peace. For chosen ones, the quality of the aftermath is not measured by how dramatic or passionate the moment seemed, but by how aligned it was with your truth. Did you feel safe enough to be yourself? Did you listen to your body's signals instead of silencing them? Did you stay faithful to your values, even when your fear of being alone tried to negotiate them away? When the answer is yes, the aftermath tends to carry light, even if the path is not free of challenges. The way you feel after intimacy is like a report that your inner world sends you. Exhaustion, emptiness, or expansion are not random moods. They are messages. Exhaustion might say, "You gave more of yourself than you truly had to give." Emptiness might say, "Your body was here, but your soul was not truly met." Expansion might say, "Something about this moment honored who you are." Instead of judging these sensations, you can begin to ask them what they are trying to show you. Over time, you will notice that your post-intimacy state is one of the clearest mirrors of whether a connection is nourishing or draining you. Many chosen ones learn this the hard way. They repeat experiences that end in exhaustion and emptiness so many times that eventually the pattern becomes undeniable. They wake up one day and realize that, in their attempts to be loved, they have been leaving pieces of themselves in each encounter until they can no longer ignore the cost. At that point, some make a very brave decision. They stop accepting intimacy that leaves them emptier than before. They choose to wait, to heal, to relearn what connection means, even if that means going through periods of apparent loneliness. They discover that being alone and in peace is less lonely than being with someone and feeling internally abandoned. If you look back at your own life, you might see this pattern. Moments after which you felt strangely hollow, even when everything on the surface said you should feel satisfied, and other, rarer moments in which you felt quietly expanded, respected, and more yourself than before. Both types of experience are teachers. The painful ones show you what you do not want to repeat. The healing ones show you what your soul always knew was possible, even if you did not yet have words for it. You are not weak because your body and your emotions speak loudly after intimacy. You are not too sensitive because you cannot simply stand up, shake everything off, and act as if nothing happened. Your system refuses to treat intimacy as something meaningless. It knows that every encounter leaves a footprint in your inner world. The question is not whether there will be a footprint. The question is what kind it will be. As a chosen one, your journey is not about never feeling exhaustion or emptiness again. It is about learning to listen when those sensations show up and adjusting your choices accordingly. It is about allowing the aftermath to be honest feedback, not something you numb with distractions, denial, or self-blame. It is about gradually choosing connections that leave you more whole, not more fragmented. Now that we have walked through the 5 strange sensations, the waves of chills, the tight chest, the tingling activations, the mysterious presence in the room, and the revealing aftermath, it is time to bring everything together. We will close this journey by honoring your sensitivity, reframing your experiences, and reminding you that nothing about you is a mistake. If you have come this far with me, it already says something profound about who you are. Most people turn away when a subject becomes too deep, when the mirror begins to show more than they expected. But you stayed. You allowed yourself to look at your own body, your own reactions, your own strange sensations during intimacy, and you did not run from them. That alone is a sign of courage. It is also a sign of sensitivity. That same sensitivity that has been misunderstood, ridiculed, or silenced for so long in your life. We walk together through 5 experiences that many chosen ones live in silence. Those sudden waves of chills and invisible energy that move through your body. The tight, warm, sometimes tearful chest that feels as if your soul is being touched. The mysterious tingling and pressure in specific parts of your body, as if something inside were being activated. The impression that there is more than just 2 of you in the room, as if the atmosphere itself had a voice. And finally, the revealing aftermath. Exhaustion, emptiness, or expansion that quietly tells you what really happened inside you. None of these sensations are random. None of them make you defective. All of them, in their own way, are language. Your body has been speaking to you for years, maybe decades. The chills that appeared in moments of truth or danger, the chest that tightened when your heart felt unsafe, the hands or spine that reacted when your boundaries were crossed or honored, the atmosphere that grew heavy when you betrayed yourself, the emptiness or peace that visited you in the silence afterward. These were never just weird things you needed to hide. They were messages. They were your inner wisdom trying to reach the part of you that still believed you had to be normal at any cost, even if that meant abandoning what you truly felt. Being a chosen one does not mean being perfect, special in an arrogant way, or above anyone else. It means something much simpler and much more demanding. You are not built to live half awake. Your system does not let you stay numb for long. You can try to treat intimacy as something casual, mechanical, disconnected from your soul. But eventually, your body will protest. It will send you chills, pressure, tightness, restlessness, emptiness. It will insist, this matters. This is shaping you. This is not neutral. And while others may be able to ignore these whispers, you cannot. Your sensitivity does not give you that option. For a long time, you may have interpreted this as a curse. You saw other people moving lightly from one encounter to another, smiling as if nothing touched them deeply. And you wondered why everything left a mark on you. Why a simple hug could stay in your mind for days. Why a careless word could echo in your chest for weeks. Why an intimate moment could feel like a spiritual event, for better or worse, instead of just fun. You may have asked yourself, why can I not be like everyone else? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable. Because you're not meant to be like everyone else. Your path is different. Your depth is part of your design, not a failure in your wiring. So what do you do with all of this? How do you live as a chosen one in a world that teaches people to disconnect from themselves? You begin with one decision. You stop calling broken what is actually honest. Instead of treating your strange sensations as enemies, you begin to treat them as guides. When chills run through your body in a moment of intimacy, you do not immediately push them away. You notice them and ask, is this a yes, a no, a warning, or a recognition? When your chest tightens, you do not simply force yourself to relax. You ask, what part of me feels unsafe or deeply moved right now? When specific parts of your body light up with tingling or pressure, you ask, what am I feeling emotionally at this exact moment? When the room feels more crowded than it looks, you ask, what truth is present here that no one is naming? And when the aftermath arrives, you listen to it as a teacher, not as an inconvenience. Honoring your sensitivity does not mean overanalyzing every second or living in fear. It means refusing to abandon yourself in the name of keeping someone else comfortable. It means allowing your body to have a voice in your choices, instead of treating it as a silent servant. It means accepting that, for you, intimacy will always be more than physical, and that this is not a flaw, but a form of protection and direction. Your sensitivity shows you who truly sees you and who only uses you. It shows you which connections nourish your soul and which ones hollow you out over time. It shows you when you are walking toward your own truth and when you are drifting away from it. Of course, this path is not simple. It may mean saying no when everything in you fears being alone. It may mean leaving situations where your body screams for help while your mind tries to negotiate. It may mean admitting that some experiences that looked beautiful from the outside left you wounded on the inside, and allowing yourself to grieve that. It may also mean opening to the possibility that true, aligned intimacy exists for you, but that it cannot be built on the sacrifice of your own soul. It must be built on honesty, respect, presence, and mutual care. Anything less will always feel wrong in your nervous system, no matter how hard you try to convince yourself otherwise. You are allowed to want more than touch. You are allowed to want safety, truth, kindness, emotional presence, spiritual coherence. You are allowed to step away from situations that look exciting but feel empty. You are allowed to wait for connections that do not demand that you silence your inner voice. You are allowed to say, my body and my soul are coming together, or not at all. For a chosen one, this is not being picky. It is being faithful to who you are. As you move forward, you do not need to remember every word of this journey. What matters is that you remember this. You are not crazy. You are not broken. And you are not alone. There are others, scattered around the world, who feel chills for no apparent reason, whose hearts tighten in the middle of a kiss, whose bodies light up with mysterious tingles, who sense an unseen presence in the room, who lie awake afterward wondering why they feel empty or beautifully at peace. They too have spent years thinking they were too much. They too are learning that their sensitivity is not a curse, but a compass. If this message resonated with you, let this be a quiet commitment between you and yourself. From now on, you will listen a little more closely to what your body says during and after intimacy. You may not always understand it instantly. You may still make mistakes, still ignore signs sometimes, still choose old patterns out of habit or fear. But step by step, you can begin to treat your sensations not as noise to be silenced, but as guidance to be honored. And if you feel comfortable doing so, you can also leave one simple sentence in the comments, as a way of giving a voice to your own journey and silently supporting others who feel the same. I am learning to listen to my body, because that is what this is really about. Not perfection, not never feeling strange again, but learning, slowly, bravely, tenderly, to trust the language of your own being. You are not here to live disconnected from yourself. You are here to live fully present, fully honest, and fully alive. And your strange sensations during intimacy, they were never your enemy. They were always your soul, knocking on the door, asking to be seen.